Hey friends, today we're going to be doing a video. I don't know what my eyes were just doing, that was a little weird. Today we're going to be doing a video talking about 10 brands that really aren't popular on YouTube. Before I get into this, I want to stress there's nothing wrong with these brands. In fact, a lot of them are brands and products that I use regularly all the time, almost every time I put my makeup on. But I've just noticed that for one reason or another, and I'll get into what I think is the reason, they are not really popular on YouTube. I don't see a lot of people talking about them. I don't see a lot of people talking about them even on Instagram or any other social media. So let's get into the list. Number 1 is INGLOT. INGLOT is a brand that I have been using for a very, very long time, and honestly, they're the number 1 brand that I get sad that they're not more popular, because I really feel like they should be. They have so many different products. The star of their line for sure is their eyeshadows. Honestly, some of the best eyeshadows that I have ever used, and in all sorts of different finishes. Their mattes they're amazing. They're just perfect. They really push the Freedom palette line that they have, and that basically is that you get to make your own palette with different eyeshadows, blushes, lip colors, all that. They also have a line of eyeshadows called their rainbow eyeshadows, and these in particular I really love because you're getting 3 colors for the price of 1. I have a lot of the matte ones. I don't have any of the shimmery, or I have a couple of the shimmery ones now that I'm looking at my stuff. But this is just such an awesome idea, and the fact that you can get so many different colors for a really good price, and then when you have them all, you can do so many different looks with them. And again, that amazing matte quality, their shimmer colors are perfect. I've just been using them for so long, and I constantly go back to them. They are by far my favorite eyeshadows, and I continue to go back to them. I think that they're amazing. Number 2 is LORAC. LORAC was really popular a couple of years ago with their pro palettes. These were palettes that would come out once a year. People would be so excited about these, but in the last couple of years, I feel like the hype has definitely died down. Their eyeshadows are really nice, but they definitely require a certain technique. Their mattes are pretty chalky and very soft, so you have to be really careful with them, and I think that part of that is why they're not as popular anymore. The next one is Milani. Milani was one of my first real colorful eyeshadow brands that I really dove into. When I think of Milani, I immediately picture a single eyeshadow. It was a purple eyeshadow band in gold packaging, and it was this purple, super sparkly color. And I remember just really thinking that this brand was super cool because it had all of these bright, fun colors, but it was a drugstore brand. I don't really see many people using them. I know that we've talked about in my last Good, Bad, Boring video about them coming out with some liquid eyeshadows, and I think it's just that I think they're at Walmart now. Maybe that's why I haven't seen them, because I know I used to buy Milani products at Ulta, and they're not sold at Ulta anymore. So that's one that I just really don't see a lot. Number 4 is Sonia Kashuk. If I wasn't buying MAC brushes back in the day, because it was always MAC, that was my big thing, Sonia Kashuk was the go-to for inexpensive but quality brushes. Part of the reason that they are not nearly as popular anymore is because the explosion of Morphe and Morphe brushes, because Sonia Kashuk was always the ones that you would get if you went to Target. Those were like the really good quality brushes for a good price, and they kind of got swept away when Morphe came out with their products. Sonia Kashuk is still around. You definitely don't hear much about the brand anymore. Number 5, you might disagree with me on this one, but I'm sticking to it, is MAC. 15 years ago, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, MAC was the king, maybe not 5 years ago, MAC was the king of the world. MAC was the end-all be-all, the creme de la creme, the absolute top tier of the makeup industry. When I worked at MAC, I remember girls that worked at other counters coming and using MAC products and just lying basically about it being the brands that they worked for, because MAC was the end-all be-all. That was what you wanted to use if you wanted to use the top of everything and just completely own your world. They had so many colors. They were edgy. They had their Viva Glam. Just everything about it was enticing. Everything about it was just, it grabbed your attention. It was so out there and bold and different. In recent years, we found that MAC has just come out with so many different collections over and over and over that we can't keep up. You can't get excited about it. I have not been excited about a MAC collection, like really excited, in a pretty long time. It bums me out. It seems like MAC really hasn't progressed. It really feels like MAC kind of got stagnant and kind of stuck in the past. And even though they're coming out with all of these different collections, there's really nothing new that seems exciting. Even if they come out with a new product, it doesn't grab your attention. It doesn't excite like they used to. I remember they had a Heatherette collection that was all pink, and it was just the craziest colors, and they had Barbie Loves MAC, and they had Hello Kitty, and they had Faffinette. I remember these amazing collections that just blew me away. Now, I just don't feel that anymore. Even when it's a bright, bold collection, there's just not that greatness. And it really makes me sad because MAC had the world in their hands and then didn't continue to push forward. Number 6 is another one that you are probably going to be shocked to hear me say, and that is Stila. Stila Cosmetics, again, back 10 years ago was very popular. They had a shade named Kitten that was their universal color, and it still is. I believe every product that they have, their eyeshadows, their liquid eyeshadows, their highlighters, they all have a shade named Kitten. That's that same really shimmery, champagne-y color. Stila, though, for the most part, is not really a very popular brand on social media. I live, breathe, and die when it comes to their liquid eyeshadows. I use them every single time I have makeup on. I have them on right now, but I do not hear anybody ever talking about Stila, just in general. I don't use any of their other products, and I'll be honest, I have not been excited about anything that they have come out with other than these liquid eyeshadows. Every time I see something new from them, it feels so lackluster and so same old, same old. When I think of Stila, I think of if I mixed all their colors together, it would be that Kitten shade. Do you know what I mean? Like it feels all very one note. But the liquid eyeshadows are by far my favorite, but I still just don't see that push and that drive of people really talking about them. Number 7 is Cargo. Cargo Cosmetics, I don't know if they were ever very popular, but I remember being obsessed with one of their mascaras, and I used it all of the time, and it was amazing. I think that they're still kind of around, but again, I never hear anybody talk about them. I never really see anything about them, and I really don't have anything else to say about them. I was on the Ulta website, I was kind of looking around, and I saw them, and I was like, man, I remember when they were really popular, and people would use them a lot, and that mascara was everything, and Cargo Cosmetics. Number 8 is DERMABLEND. DERMABLEND has some of the most amazing concealers and foundations ever. They had an ad a couple of years ago that blew everyone away. It was the late zombie boy who unfortunately passed away. He was covered head to toe in tattoos, literally head to toe. When the ad first starts, you just see this guy sitting there with no tattoos, no nothing, and then he starts to take off the makeup and you see all of these tattoos. And it was such a creative way to show how amazing their foundation and concealers were, but I never see anybody talk about anything from them anymore. I don't know if it's just because they have their core line of products and they really aren't innovating and creating new things, because that's what we seem to really crave in the social media world, is we want new shiny things, and DERMABLEND seems to be just that core foundation, core concealer, and not really pushing for new things, because how much greater can they get? How much more can they innovate when it's already covering a crazy amount of tattoos? Number 9 is ICO Cosmetics. You might not know this brand, but it was a brand that I used a lot a few years ago. I remember loving their mascaras. So great. Again, these companies that I really like their mascaras. They also have liquid liners that are kind of pen liquid liners that are really great too. I'm just looking at them on the Ulta website right now, and again, I don't ever see anybody really talk about them. And finally, number 10 is LANCOME. Now LANCOME has always, at least to me, had kind of an older, mature woman vibe to it. And that's fine, but I rarely see them talked about unless the occasional taking people on a trip and then that person talks about them or what have you. There was a point there. There was a point where I saw them kind of taking a direction where they seemed to be trying to cater to a younger, more adventurous with their makeup demographic. And then it kind of just faded away. They had a line of amazing liners that were so many different colors and they were just fantastic, and then they went away. And now it's just, I use their foundation a lot and I really do like it, but again, don't really see it talked about very much. Okay, so that's my list of 10 brands that are really not popular on YouTube. And the main reason for this is because they don't push back when it comes to social media. Think about Morphe or ColourPop, Tarte, Urban Decay. These are all brands that are constantly working with top influencers, taking them on trips, doing all sorts of deals with them, and that's all you can hear about. So I feel like when a brand doesn't think they need social media, it completely backfires. In like 2011 YouTube, and when Instagram was just becoming a thing, INGLOT was my favorite thing ever. And it's because I went into their store and I found it and I bought everything that I own. They never really took advantage of what they had. They had people talking about them. They had people really excited, and they kind of stuck to their guns and stuck to going to trade shows and focusing on the makeup artist aspect. And that's fine, but that's the reason that they are not super popular. I know that I think a year ago or 2 years ago, they had a collection come out with J-Lo, and they brought some people, I believe Desi Perkins, a couple of other people, to Las Vegas to meet her and to kind of talk about the brand. And that's the only time I've ever seen anybody talk about INGLOT. So I think if these brands want to up their game, they need to start innovating and come out with things that are new and shiny and bright and different. And they need to up their social game by about 1 billion. Get these products into people's hands, and then they will talk about it. And if they are amazing, it'll speak for itself. That's my thoughts, and those are my 10 that I remember being really popular and then they're not popular anymore. Feel free in the comments to list if you agree, disagree, or who you think I missed on my list. Thank you so much for watching. As always, my name is Leesha. I love you so much, and I'll see you next time.